Truckers are the heartbeat of America. Now, it's time for those three crazy truckers to deliver you an hour of news, interviews, and entertainment for your listening pleasure. It's the Independent Truckers, right here at the Truckers Independent Broadcasting Network, with your host, Princess Allie, Mr. Rock and Roll Sean Mitchell, and John Grosvenor. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Independent Truckers, right here at the Truckers Independent Broadcasting Network, broadcasting live. We had a guest lined up today, but our guest is no show at the moment, so maybe he'll show up here at a little bit later time. Possibly very busy. Some folks get busy and they're doing their thing and trying to get work done, and sometimes they miss us, but that's just how it goes. Hopefully, we're coming in okay. I think I adjusted the audio on this all right. Sean, how you doing over there, bud?
I'm doing pretty good.
Doing pretty good. How you doing, Allie? You doing okay over there?
I'm doing good.
Oh,
Doing good.
all right. So yeah, I heard you was doing good not too long ago, taking trips across the country and stuff.
Who?
Um,
Who?
what?
Who was?
I thought you were.
What?
Out of
Oh,
the
what? In
state
Florida?
anyway. You went to Florida?
Oh, you're talking about Louisiana.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I
Yeah.
heard you was having a good time doing some traveling.
She went
Probably
down and
Yeah.
saw Marie Laveau.
Marie Laveau.
Yeah, she went and saw Marie Laveau.
If she saw Marie Laveau, you'd be the first to know. You'd probably have things growing off your body that you never seen before.
Oh Lord.
Could you do this to my friend Sean? He needs a horn right here in the middle of his forehead. All right. So what do we got going on today or this week? We got a trucker inspection coming up next week, right, Sean?
Yep, 13th through the 15th.
13th through the 15th, they are looking for tires, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to have a truck inspections 13th, 14th, and 15th, I believe. Commercial vehicle drivers are required to physically inspect their tires at the beginning and the end of a driving shift. The fleets will have some obligation to look after these expensive assets, but somehow tires continue to come apart out on the highway. So apparently they're getting sick and tired of seeing our chunks of tires out there on the highway. It'd be nice if they'd fix their roads. We might not be losing chunks of tires so rapidly, but I guess that's a different story for them. But they say now have dangerous chunks of debris blocking the roadway. The fleet is out about $1,000 for a new tire and a service call. The driver loses 2 to 3 hours of precious productivity. Yeah, that wouldn't happen if we get stuck with an ELD and cheesy hours of service rules that didn't work. But here again, that's another story. Preventing all that calamity must be worth 15 or 20 minutes in the morning, right? Question mark. It has been reported that about 80% of roadside tire failures are a direct result of creeping air loss. In other words, undetected underinflation. Um, yeah. I know some truck drivers don't do their pre-trip inspections. I'm aware, but it does help, guys. If you get out there and thump your tires at the end of the shift, that's the best time to do it. Make sure all nice and hard and ready for the next day, and do it again in the morning because might have had an overnight leak. But some guys kind of look that over, and in route inspections are a good thing too. You definitely want to do in route inspections from time to time. If you're stopped, do a quick walk around, kick the tires, stuff like that. You should periodically check your air pressure directly with an air gauge, at least what, Sean, every 1 to 2 weeks?
At least.
At least 2 weeks, right? And your tire depth. You should keep up with your tire depth. But that's what their primary focus is on. But we had Brent Hoover on not too long ago, and I believe he was talking about some other things, Sean.
Yeah, also next week, what they're going to be looking at on the inspection is ELD log certification, ELD mismanagement, and the big one is the ghost drivers.
Ghost drivers, man, you peeling them signs off the side of your truck and planting new ones. Well, you might get busted.
Well, and they're also saying they have a co-driver, John.
No way. The invisible kind?
Yep, yep.
Or the one that's just always in the bunk asleep when you get pulled over?
Yeah, Leroy the Swamper. Yeah.
Yeah. The swamper. What's a swamper? I never heard that one.
Yeah, Leroy the Swamper. He always in the back. You never do see him, but he's always in the back.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. I dodge from work, but I provide a nice, new, clean, fresh logbook for the day. Yeah. Some
But
people
according
team
to
drive
Brent, all
just
them
for that.
according to Brent, all them damn relief drivers get dropped off at Marshall, Illinois.
Yeah. Marshall, Illinois. What a place to be. I think they might have one stoplight in the whole city.
So here's something where I'm going to ask. Allie, you kind of sit back on time to time with this subject, but what's your thoughts on they're wanting to have all the United States, all the drivers in the trucking industry now read, write, and speak English?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, if you can't read, write, and speak English, how you gonna follow the road rules and efficiently do your job? I think it's a great idea.
But yet, though, I read an article today where one driver said he can't do any of that, but he's never had an accident.
That's possible.
Well, you said that he doesn't do any of that, but he's never had an
Yeah,
accident.
right.
Well, I guess he's lucky. Guess he got lucky. I don't know. I mean, yeah. Guess you got lucky.
So it's not impossible. I mean, there's drivers out there that have not have accidents and don't speak English, right? But it's where do they run? Do they
Yeah.
run the same routes every week? Were they properly trained on those routes so they know what they're doing? They're not going to have issues. But yeah, you're also right on the lucky part because there's detours, and as an
Mhm.
English speaking person, I can verify. I've been on detours, and it's nice when they just kind of give you a detour sign and detour you off the main route, and you're cruising along. You're going, okay, where's the follow up sign? Where am I going? Hey, you
Mhm.
come to realize there is no follow up sign. They just detour me out like I'm supposed to know the road and stuff, and that's always fun. But I can
Yeah.
imagine if you didn't speak English, how you would manage to get around all of that. Some of them might have GPS might help with them, um, but
I mean, I guess if you know the road signs and you understand them, and I guess it just depends on your job. If you have to get out of your truck and speak to somebody and you can't speak English, and like that other person that you're going to deliver for, they don't know what you're saying. I mean, I think you need to know English. But I mean, if you're not getting out of your truck, but if you know the road laws and everything and you understand, then I wouldn't see an issue with it. As long as you're just staying in your truck, not talking
well,
to
no,
anybody.
there is. No, you were right the first time. I mean, I'm kind of I might be throwing you off track here a little bit, but the requirement for English proficiency is to be able to communicate any risk with the general public,
Mhm.
with law enforcement officers, and
Mhm.
as you said, with shippers and receivers. If you can't
Mhm.
communicate any risk or any issues, properly communicate with people, there could be issues out there. If you're having
Mhm.
an issue with your vehicle and you need to communicate with people and you can't, it's a problem.
Mhm.
If you can't read signs, it's a problem.
Mhm.
And some of those signs, man, I'll tell you what, I've seen some signs I pass. I wish I had just a little bit more time to read the rest of that, because it would have been nice to get the rest of it. But
Well, I
so
mean, even still, I look at Allie's profession being a phlebotomist. If she goes and asks somebody what their blood type is, and they just sit there and look at her all goo goo goggy eyed, I, I mean, yeah, they can run a test for that, and they'll find out exactly what blood type they are. But don't you think a couple minutes might save actually some time and trouble just by saying that you're whatever blood type?
yeah, it would.
I mean, even even so, I had a couple of patients that didn't speak any English. They didn't understand it, speak it, anything. I mean, we could accommodate that. We had a piece of paper to show them, hey, this is the questions that we're going to ask you. What's your blood type and this and that, whatever. I mean, we could accommodate to that. It's not an issue. But I'm just saying, like, like on the road, it's different.
Well, I agree, but I'm just saying when I'm also getting at if you're going to be in this country and you want to be legalized, it goes back to the main priority. You have to know and read, write, and speak English.
You have to have
Yeah.
a
Just even be in this country
you have to have a
as
foundation.
a resident.
You have to have a foundation for communication. So, in Ellie's profession, if somebody was she's getting ready to draw blood or something and they start getting dizzy, lightheaded, fainting or something, she couldn't communicate, hey, what's wrong, what's going on, and if they have an allergy that they're feeling coming on, or if they have something that condition that they could be reporting to her, that so if they're unconscious, she can tell the nurse that arrives, or the whoever comes around, pick them up and carry them off to emergency services. You can say, this is what they said. But if they said it all in Spanish, or if they said it all in Russian or some other language, then she can't communicate what happened to them. So there,
Well,
I see your
and
point. You got a good point there. Without a foundation and communication in a country, we get lost. Things can happen. Things
well,
can get
John, and
awry.
I go back the way I was taught in school. You want to piss off a liberal real fast. You ask him one question: are you born of the blood or born of the soil? And they will look at you and go, huh?
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say you put them in a round room and tell them to piss in a corner, but that too might piss them off. The
That's
previous
all you
one
got to
would
do is ask
confuse
them,
them.
are you born of the blood or born of the soil? And watch them go nuts.
Yeah.
It's a very simple question.
Well, apparently, I mean, when you got friends that combat human trafficking for so many years, and now they're all saying their defense of all these illegals, saying, well, their due process is being violated. What due process is being violated exactly? I'm waiting for a liberal to explain to me exactly what due process is being violated. Okay, because you've got Garcia, who was denied asylum, I believe twice, but at least once I know of. He has been identified as associated with MS-13 gangs, and literally, I mean, as in he himself has been identified with affiliations. He's wearing tattoos to signify that he's involved in gang life, and he's wanted in El Salvador for gang activity. He was pulled over for he wasn't pulled over for trafficking, but he was the officer was suspicious of him for trafficking, driving without a license. So he's violating laws in the United States of America. So Trump decides to deport him. He didn't have any legal basis to be here, really. I mean, he was done, and they're saying that his rights were violated. The only thing Trump violated is a judge said he can't be deported back to El Salvador. So Trump could have sent him to Colombia, and then Colombia could have said, well, we're not keeping him, and sent him to El Salvador. I mean, Trump just shortcutted the process.
Oh, I
Um,
agree.
so, and then you've got the other cases where you got a woman who was told to self deport 10 years ago. 10 years ago, she was told that she had no place in the United States. She had children. She had passports for her children, which indicates she was traveling back and forth to the Honduras. If she was traveling back and forth, she wasn't under threat. So obviously, she didn't qualify for asylum. She wasn't supposed to be here. So Trump picks her up and says, well, time for you to go home. She, and because her children are American citizens because they were born here, but her children had the passports. So they had a legal means to go with her to Honduras. And she signed a waiver saying, no, I want my children to come with me. He didn't deport any children. She chose to take them. But the left is trying to say Trump's deporting children. One of them had cancer. She chose that for him. They're trying to say Trump deprived him of his medication, wouldn't let him have his medication. She's the one in charge of all that, not Trump. She chose all that. She could have made accommodations for him. So, you
Well,
break
then
the
how do
law
you
here, and then you want special privileges because you have children. You know what we used to call this back in the day? The political right used to call it anchor babies. You come here having babies and think that's going to afford you citizenship.
See, that terminology of born of the soil got misconstrued. It really did. So, how do you explain the couple that was married up in Boston for 28 years? He's from another country. She's up there crying because Trump deported him.
Yeah.
I think after 28 years, you had plenty of opportunity there, pal.
So here's the other thing. January 20th, 2025, Trump was inaugurated. Trump put a message out there. I don't remember if it was an executive order or if it was just a message because it's following law and procedures. And it was all undocumented immigrants must report to immigration for documentation. Okay. Trump has a website for people to register themselves. And he had that set up in 2016, or I mean 2020 before he left office. Um, so that was all set up and established, and people refused to go get documented. If you didn't follow due process and get yourself documented, then what makes you think you got any due process after that? What makes you think you got any rights to have a hearing before a judge? You were required to go get documented.
But now it's coming even a bigger problem because now Trump wants to open back up Alcatraz.
Is he going to put all the illegals there?
Oh, he's claiming he wants to put not only the illegals there, but the undesirables.
Wow. So how many stories do you think Alcatraz is going to be? That's a lot of people to house. But yeah, we
It's
were
supposed to
talking
be
about
state
that.
of the art too, by the way.
Yeah, we were talking
Um,
about that, and yeah, it sounds like they would have to tear it down and build a complete new facility. And like you said, to upgrade it for state of the art. But go ahead and finish what you were saying about that.
no, I'm just saying this from the news reports I read. He's going to have drones flying all over it. There'll be a 5 mile no-fly zone around Alcatraz. It's going to have everything state of the art, and all the desirables will be. I mean, even the ones that they just can't do nothing with. He's going to put them into something similar to what they call black cells, which basically the only contact they'll ever have, human-wise, is either with a prison guard or a doctor.
Yeah, they used to call that solitary confinement, and now they call it a shoe.
Oh, it's
Solitary
even worse than
housing
that.
something or another unit. But yeah, it's
It's even going to be worse than that, from what I understand.
well, what are they
Um,
gonna do? Like hose them down with ice cold water, like every other hour or something? Or I mean, what are they doing in these black? What do you call 'em?
they have nothing to do. I mean, they won't even have any access to any kind of public knowledge of what's going on the outside world. There's no radios, no TVs, just a bed and four walls,
And no human contact.
and no human contact
Well, they
whatsoever.
more or less do that with I don't know if they give them, what they call that sensory deprivation, when you don't know what time it is or if it's day or night, and no contact with the outside world. But that would maximum what do you call them? Penitentiaries. People like Ted Zelensky went. They basically get cells to
He
themselves. They're basically confined in a cell by themselves. They don't really have a
he went to
population.
he went to Supermax in Colorado.
Yeah, yeah, Supermax. But yeah, isn't that what they do? Don't they do that same thing? They keep them within a cell of their own, and
Pretty much.
I think they give them
I mean,
books to read and things like that,
that's
right?
where that's where the subway boy went. Jared.
Oh, that did he ever get out? Not
That's
sure.
where one of the former governors of Illinois went.
He got out. I know he did. Jared, I
Yeah,
forgot
he's
about
out.
Jared. I don't know if he deserves to be out, but
Well, and that it's a group like that is what Trump wants to reopen Alcatraz for.
Yeah, yeah, for the worst of the worst. And that's, well, that was the thing. Going back to deportation, that was what Trump said. He is deporting the worst of the worst. He's not, that's what he was looking for. He was going to go after other people eventually, but his primary objective was to get these gangsters out, to get the MS-13s, the TDAs, all these people from international, transnational gangs and stuff, get them out of our country. They're wreaking havoc. They're destroying lives. They're destroying families. They're smuggling drugs into this country, drugs that are killing people. It's time to get this under control and get this to stop. I don't know why. What's her name there? Shaneham. The Mexican president there, the female president. Trump offered our military services to help her get her the cartels under control. And her response was, "No, we are a sovereign country. We will handle our own problems. We don't need your military here." We weren't asking to take over. It wasn't an invasion. It was an assistance. But hey,
So
I wish Trump would make that offer to me. Maybe he could, like, approach me and say, "John, would you like to get together and maybe we can do something to police the FMCSA?" I would think that would be a great offer, and I would take him right up on it. I'm just saying. Of course,
well, I mean, we got one small victory with what's going to happen as of June 25th. The other problem is that they're still not they're not really taking a look at the ELDs yet.
they're not going to. They
I
want to
mean,
make money off that.
the bottom line of it is the 14-hour rule's got to go. I've heard a lot of drivers say they want to do away with the 30-minute breaks too, but
The ELD's got to go. It's ridiculousness. There's no need to have it. You get rid of hours of service rules, and the ELD's going right with it. All I'm saying,
no, I
people, is
agree.
there is no law requiring an hours of service rule. It says the secretary may prescribe a maximum hours of service. It doesn't say shall. It doesn't say must. It doesn't say will. It says may. We get rid of that hour of service rule. We get rid of that ELD. Just saying.
Well, they're planning on that, John. It's called autonomous trucks.
Well, we'll have victory one day. Wasn't how we were going about it, but
No.
that's another scary project, and I think the biggest obstacle they have right now is on autonomous trucks. They're moving in that direction. We heard about the Dallas Houston thing, and no driver involved. Can you imagine? Do they have like somebody there in the truck, or was it absolutely nobody? I
Well,
thought,
there's been several options thrown out. There has to be somebody in the truck. I mean, that was the one thing California did do was if you're going to have an autonomous truck, there still has to be a driver in the truck.
yeah, you would think.
They
So,
have to have, that is my thinking. They need an operator in the truck.
well, they said this one from Dallas to Houston wasn't going to have a driver, but I don't know if that means it wasn't gonna have a tech in there that was monitoring the like on a computer monitoring the operations, or how that's going to work. I don't remember any details in that matter. But the one obstacle we have right now to our benefit, preventing full autonomy and running people out of jobs, is the fact that the FCC deprived the DOT a bandwidth big enough for them to do their vehicle to vehicle communications, which they need to complete their autonomy. So they got shorthanded.
Hmm.
Now, I thought about a
Ain't that
solution on that,
interesting?
but I'll be damned if I'm going to share it. I'm not giving them any ideas. I'm just saying I thought
Yeah,
of things.
let's not help them out, John.
No, I'm
we've
not.
we've helped them out now enough now.
I'm not the sharing
Uh,
mood. My mother always said, if you're not going to say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So I can't share it because I'm just not going to say anything nice about
well,
it.
I was gonna ask Allie since she's in Texas if she saw any autonomous trucks yet.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, she's in the Dallas area, aren't you?
More or less.
She don't want to give her location away, Sean. She's an undisclosed location in an underground bunker.
Yep. I'm hidden.
Courtesy of the TIBN.
Oh, we paid for that bunker? I don't recall.
Oh, didn't you know about that? Oops, I forgot to tell you about that one.
I thought her parents paid for
Darn.
it.
But very
I got
briefly,
somebody
go
I got
ahead,
somebody
Allie.
locked in my basement too. I just let him out so he can go to work.
Oh,
That poor kid.
I got to make money somehow.
dating ain't what it used to
Well,
be, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying.
yeah, I found that out today too.
Oh, you did.
Yes, I did. Ain't that right, Allie?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah, sure is.
tried to be a gentleman and
Backfired.
well, yeah, well, what can I say? I guess maybe I should have pulled the hair.
Oh my God.
Sounds
Anyway,
sounds like a lot
so
going on here.
uh, I know our guest didn't show up, but I had a couple of things I wanted to bring up about Canada. Pretty interested in what's going on with this prime minister. He was very adamant on saying Canada is not for sale. Who said that Trump wanted to buy Canada,
Yeah,
or does he
that's a
want to make
good
it better?
question. Good question.
You know what? Point Canada can stay in like their own country. I don't. We don't need Canada. They're freaking off their rocker, anyways. We got people laying or sitting in the road. I mean, we got that here in America. Not as much right now, but people sitting in the middle of the road. Uh, I don't even know what they're protesting for, but I'm sure it's a whole bunch of bull crap. You don't see Republicans out here protesting.
Well, sometimes they do, but they don't do it like the liberal left does. Blocking up roadways, preventing people's right to
Uh,
travel, and you know,
Around here, I've never seen Republicans protest. Never.
well, demonstrate really.
We got people over here protesting for the immigration and.
Conservatives may
Sorry, go
not
ahead.
necessarily protest; they'll do demonstrations, right? So you'll see, say the truckers convoy, where people are on the bridges with flags
Yeah.
and hooting and hollering and stuff. Hey,
Hmm.
Stacy, how you doing? Don't let Sean lie. Well, I think we got an idea where that came from.
What? She
Who
just
said that?
upset because yeah, she just upset because I wouldn't let her share my pickle with her.
Oh my land, son. If I
So
hear about the pickle one more time,
Don't you say a damn word, Grosvenor.
I was going to go with the conservative thing, but if you guys want to stay on the pickle thing, that's okay too.
no, 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 no.
It sounds to me
We can
like
steer
Sean is a
away from the
frequent
pickle
visitor to the pickle
conversation.
parks. That's all I got to say.
Gave her a French fry, let her sample my Dr. Pepper. Boy, I tell you.
I wonder what's going to happen to Canada if he's actually saying that he wants nothing to do with Trump, no business, no nothing, and considering the tariffs, Canada gets all their goods from America, China. Um, that's pretty much it. America and China. I mean, we provide more than China does.
Well, and
So
on a more serious note, Allie, look at how many car manufacturers are in Canada right now, and they import into the United States.
yep. I
Well,
mean, I think Canada's about to go down the hole.
I saw something a while back ago. I'm seeing if I can find it. Let's see, that was last year. I saw something to reflecting what's going on with Canada. The trucking companies, from what I seen of it, were downsizing their staff, 60 as much as up to 70%. So they may be feeling the effects of what's going on. But then I was reading some stuff earlier about their economy and stuff. It looks like they've been holding their own pretty good this year so far economically. They haven't been doing terribly bad, I guess. But then again, Trump just started here not too long ago as far as doing the increases, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first quarter wasn't terribly bad. We'll see how their second quarter turns out before too long. And I mean, I'm not wishing any will on Canada. I absolutely don't want anything bad to happen to the folks over there. I hope they do okay.
Absolutely not.
And hold their own. I mean, it is true. Canada had relied on the United States, our economy, to sustain themselves for their own economy. It's kind of like violating the first golden rule of business: don't put all your eggs in one basket. And so they found that they are kind of dependent on the United States for their economy. And I know Peter told me at the beginning of this that Canada had that realization, and now they're looking to garner business overseas with other countries and stuff, so that they can sustain themselves. Kind of like Brazil right now is fist pumping because of our tariff wars with China has opened up markets for them in China for soy crops. So now they got an avenue where they're filling the gap where the United States were supplying soy and stuff, and they're not getting it anymore. I guess Brazil's supplying it now, so their farmers are pretty excited because of what Trump is doing. I guess you would expect that from Brazil because they're on the polar side of the axis. Yeah, they're on an axis of their own with China. They align themselves with in BRICS with China, Russia, Iran, and South Africa. So I'm surprised that China wasn't just cutting us out at the beginning anyway. But see, they were afraid to. They're afraid to disrupt the markets. And it might actually be a market that we don't get back since the market's already been disrupted. So there's going to be backlash in the course of this, but we also know that China really didn't have that strong of economy. They put on a lot of front through the years. They lied about their monetary value. They've lied about their investments, and strung other nations along with these lies to try to give themselves advantages because they want to be the next superpower in the globe. They want to replace us, is what they. And the irony is they want to use this for their economy. If it wasn't for the Western civilization, China would never have the strengths that they have. And they've benefited off us for what, 3 or 4 decades now. And they've grown strong militarily. They've grown strong a lot of ways. They were developing a strong economy and gaining a middle class that they've never seen before. Right about 2020, but COVID kind of shot everything down on them, like it did everybody else. So they're really not that strong economically, as best I can tell. Strong enough they can sustain themselves pretty well with the tariff wars, but not strong enough in long term, I don't think. So I think Trump has an advantage.
Well, and I look back on the short story of all that, John, is one scared and the other one's glad of it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Trump's over here clapping, and China's just playing poker face.
Well, they don't know what to do next because they really in the long run, Trump, they should have seen this coming with Trump once before. He's just getting a little tougher on what he's doing now.
This second term of his, he come out swinging. He wasn't playing games. He's just like, man, them gates open, and he come out swinging. He's laying them out there. But he's right. It's time to quit allowing ourselves to be a doormat in the world. It's time for people to stop, like these illegals coming into our country and using us. It's just you either want to be a U.S. citizen or you don't. If you don't, get out. It's that simple. You know.
Well, when Mitch Daniels was governor of Indiana, I actually applauded the one thing he told all the illegals in the state. You got 1 year. Pack your shit up or get legal.
Yeah.
You got 1 year.
Nobody's depriving them. It's
That
just,
part.
do you want to do it? Now, the answer to that is obviously they don't. If you didn't get documented, you didn't want it. You just wanted the benefits of being here. And that's ridiculousness. You don't want to be here, don't be here.
That's the way I look at it.
That's pretty much the sum of it, I think. And the left is kind of funny about it. You remember Hillary back in the day? Well, the illegals pay taxes too. Well, how do they pay taxes, Hillary? Well, they pay it through their purchases because you have corporate taxes. And you pay the corporate taxes through your purchases. Well, you know what? That's well and fine. Let's do it that way. I want the same fair advantage. Why am I paying personal income tax and they're not?
That part.
Yeah, why the four of us paying for something else of theirs?
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to pay taxes, that's an indirect tax, and that's how this country used to do it. We had indirect taxes. When we purchased stuff, we were paying taxes. We were paying the corporate taxes with our purchases. And we had strong economy. I mean, when McKinley was president, this country was booming without a personal income tax. The liberal left screwed it all up in 1913. They're the ones who lowered the tariffs. They're the ones who instituted a personal income tax to replace the tariffs and screwed us all over for decades, almost over
Well,
100 years.
and well, here you go, John. Here's something the left did just this week. Oh, the girls are gonna love this. The Minnesota Supreme Court has decided that women can show their breast, and they say it's not a sexual attraction.
All right, let's go. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
How
I'm just
can I
kidding.
argue against
There's
that?
there's Allie down there. Set them puppies free.
Um, you
Well-
first, Allie. You first. Go ahead.
No. That's crazy though.
Just let me know where you're gonna be, Allie, so I know to stay away from that area.
No,
Oh.
I have too much respect for myself. I'm good. I'm good. If I'm
Well,
not getting paid, I'm good. I'm just
there-
kidding.
There are a
I'll
lot-
pay you.
there are a
Where you
lot
gonna
of
be at?
states-
Let's go.
There are a lot
Regardless,
of
I'm
states-
good. I'm good.
And since I didn't get my picture last night, Stacy, there's an opportunity.
So there are
We're
a lot
talking
of
about-
states.
You will get your picture, sir, when I get my pickle. Okay.
We're talking about politics and breasts, and then we go to pickle and pictures. PP
Stop
It
don't
all
started
work.
it.
fits together.
Sean
It all-
started
it
it.
all
He
fits together.
forced me in the box. Okay. He forced me in the box.
Your CB handle is storyteller.
No, it ain't not. No, it ain't.
Oh goodness.
So great, we got storyteller and Disney, Walt Disney here.
Okay, it is
Sean,
not.
Sean would be Disney.
Okay. We all agreed what it is, and I am not going to say it on here, but we all agreed what it
Don't
was.
lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself, Stacy. You're not a storyteller.
I know I ain't. No, I ain't. I speak the
So-
truth.
There are many states within the union that don't have laws against exposing female breasts, and there's been people that went out in public and done it.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
called Black
well-
Beach near San Diego.
Well,
What-
my thing. Go ahead, Allie.
No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say my thing with the whole exposing of female breasts, how it's banned and it's shameful and all this, but God forbid you're the one transgendering into a male, but yet you still have your female boobs, and that's okay to show because you're identifying as a male. How does that make any sense?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those
Let's
on
say those
TikTok.
say those famous words, Stacy. Let me hear it.
Which ones? I got multiples.
I love it. Make it make sense.
Oh yeah, make it make sense. Make it make sense, cause they ain't making no sense right there. Like, make it make sense.
All I can think is the insurance companies might complain due to the increase of car accidents on the roads.
Hey, it's all
True.
part of their plan.
Could be.
Maybe that's why they're pushing for autonomous trucks, John.
Yeah, there's the devious plan in it, Sean. See, they allow women to expose themselves, and they do, and then car accidents increase, and they claim, see, with all these car accidents, we have to have autonomous vehicles. Now, you guys do realize it's kind of funny because we talk about autonomy quite a bit. You do realize they don't plan on us in the future owning cars.
Yeah.
They plan on cars being so expensive that the average person can't afford them. Therefore, you'll have to use taxi service and bus service to get around, or trains or planes or whatever. But they don't plan on you actually owning cars.
I'll be damned. I'll be walking everywhere I go before I go on trains or a plane to work 20 miles down the road.
So what are we supposed to do? Buy a hovercraft?
I don't know what
Well-
the plans are. I don't think they want you to own a hovercraft. I don't think they want you to own anything. You'll own nothing and be happy, remember? We'll provide the transportation. You'll just have to pay us for it.
See, and
Uh,
that was the thing I was talking to Allie about earlier today, was what a lot of people still don't realize to the degree. Canada is still considered a socialist country. The United States is not. Although I do think some people would like to point us in that direction.
Yeah, because you control people with socialism. You know, if people are hungry, they're compliant, right? So if you reduce their foods, then they can't get access to foods. They pretty much do what they have to do to get food. Um, once you have people disarmed, once you have people that are reliant and dependent on the government, now you got force. It goes in stages. So, yeah, socialism's great, man. It always leads to communism and dictatorship.
Yeah, one step below.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like I was saying last night on last night's show, we all got to get together. We got to get organized. We got to stand. If we don't, we're going to lose our freedoms. And don't count on
Yeah.
Trump to save
Well,
you. Trump's not the great savior. Trump has started a movement, but he's not the great savior. It's not. It's not going to happen in 4 years. You're not going to have any security and freedoms. You never had any security and freedoms, except for by taking action. And if you're going to find yourself distracted with stuff like movies and TV and mundane, meaningless things in life, and don't make entertainment out of standing up and protecting your freedoms, then you're going to lose them. And we've seen that too many times. And when the Supreme Court overturns an unconstitutional law, they never remove the law. It still stays there. They never remove it. They just can't enforce it because it had a Supreme Court ruling on it. So now it becomes an unenforceable law. And they're hoping that the Supreme
well,
Court again will overturn its own ruling, like Roe v. Wade.
well, and let's look at it. Let's look at it this way, John. They've impeached the man twice. Both times they failed. They've tried to assassinate him twice, possibly a third time. Nobody still answered that question. They failed there. I hear there's impeachment proceedings going for a third time, but they can't get everybody on board.
It
And
would
the
be,
Democrats are not going to waste their time after the second one.
it'd be pointless to try to impeach them right now anyway. They have to wait until they have control over the House. And they need control of the House and the Senate in order to remove them.
But the people of the United States, and this is what I truly believe, the people of the United States are not going to give the Democrats that kind of control again for a while.
Yeah, but for how long? And it's funny because people can be very, very fickle and be very easily swayed, and we've seen that too many times. Every election year after your congressman screwed everybody over, why do they get reelected? They only got to play nice for 6 months, and all of a sudden they're reelected, and then they go back to their crappy ways again, and everybody just sucks it up. Enough's enough. People got to start remembering these crappy things that they do. Vote them out.
Well, and
You want term
I've
limits?
asked
Vote them out.
I asked myself questions many a times about Richard Lugar when he was senator of Indiana. How does somebody keep getting elected?
Yeah. Why is it so hard to remove an incumbent? They're either cheating for the election or people don't vote them out.
The problem is Richard did it to himself because he spent more time in Virginia than he did in Indiana. So the people of Indiana said, you don't want to be up here, you want to be in Virginia, you can stay down there. They
See,
voted for somebody else.
just like the illegals. If you don't want to be here, get out.
Well, that's the way I look at it.
So yeah, no, term limits are there. It's a matter of just not voting for them anymore, finding somebody better. But what we do is we fall for the partisan trap, right? Parties are factions. That's what parties are. They're just factions that are owned by corporations. They're registered corporations running this country. And both sides keep saying, well, we're against the big corporations. You are a part of the machine of the big corporation. You belong to some of the biggest corporations, the Republican Party, the Democrat Party. Take your pick.
Well, and that's why I keep asking how many senators and House representatives actually have stock in these ELD companies.
A lot. They're telematics companies. And it's not just ELDs, but it's other things. I mean, telematics are a number of things. It's not just that. I mean, you're running your car. People don't realize that you're being tracked in your car every day. This is why your GPS system works, because they're tracking the movement of your vehicle. And by doing so, they're able to align everything into a computer system and put it out there in the form of the GPS. But they're tracking you in your car. They're tracking your movement all the time. That little antenna thing sticking up off the hood of or the roof of your car, that's how they're doing it. They track a lot of things off that car. you got these companies now are got you tapped in where you're paying for the service half the time, right? They got those little things where you can do the voice thing, and I don't use them. I'm not familiar with them. I think the Cadillac out there has it in there. The North Star or whatever it's called, and
OnStar.
OnStar, yeah, and they can basically track how much fuel your vehicle's burning. They can track how well your car's running. They track if your car needs an oil change and let you know it needs an oil change. This is data collecting. People don't know it, but they put it in your vehicle. They sold it to you. You had to pay for it as part of the purchase of the vehicle, and they're data collecting on you.
Sounds like we need doing compensation on that too.
Something like that. So basically, you're being treated like chattel property. They treat you like they own you, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're doing it to your cell phone. You pay for that cell phone. They got us wrapped up in this shit so bad. We're paying for it so they can get the information and make buku bucks off it. And then we'll be paying for that too when other purchases, like say if McDonald's wants to do some market research on a new location, they go pay somebody for the market research because it's all been data collected off your cell phone and those cell towers. And then they turn around and set up a McDonald's, and you go in there, you buy a bunch of Happy Meals or whatever, and through those purchases, you're paying for all that data. They know what they're doing. We don't think like they do. We keep things more simple and stuff. It's like, how is your time valued? As a truck driver, is your time valued at all? What's your time valued at? I recently saw a report saying that truck drivers' average hourly rate for a truck driver's pay went from $22.50 an hour to like $25 an hour. $25 an hour is what the average truck driver makes, and in the United States of America.
And what do they make?
You realize
And
there's
what's
trades.
minimum wage now?
There's trades out there where people are making, electricians and plumbers and stuff, making like $70 an hour, and truck drivers are making a measly $25 an hour, trying to live on the road, support themselves on the road and a family at home on $25 an hour, and they're the very, very purpose or very means that anything gets supplied in this country that any other industry can exist, and they're so underappreciated. But what is your time worth?
Well-
They waste your time continuously. You go to unload, do they pay you for that time you're sitting at the dock? Not a dime. If you got something, you're lucky. They waste your time and they tell you, well, it's built into your mileage rate. You got a tarp and untarp load. Did they pay you for that? No. Some guys might get it as owner operators, but as company drivers, if you got a measly $20, you're lucky. They always tell you, oh, it's built into your mileage rate. They waste your time. They consume your time. Your time has value. Everybody's time has a value, but we don't think that way. We let our time get squandered.
Stacy, you had to spend a couple days down south. You get paid anything for that?
Yes. Yes, I did. Not what I'm worth, but yes, I did.
Yeah, so there you go. But your time wasn't actually valued, was it? They gave you something,
Mm-mm.
but it wasn't valued.
Exactly.
But
Just enough to say we gave you something.
But we don't think like that. You think Donald Trump thinks like that? You think Donald Trump lets somebody just waste his time? His time is so precious. You know the value of Donald Trump's time? What's that man make by a minute? You know what I'm saying? I don't know the answer to that, literally, but I can imagine there's a lot of people in business that their actual time value could be like $10,000 an hour or something, or $10,000 a minute even. Some of these people like Elon Musk, for him to give you 5 minutes of his time might be the equivalent of say $50,000.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So, well, that's probably about what he's making, right? When he profits money and stuff.
Exactly.
That's probably about what he's making per minute or per hour, however you want to gauge it. So when he's looking at you and you say, hey, can I have 5 minutes of your time? What he hears is, you want $50,000 from me? No. He keeps going. He'd rather pick up the phone and talk to somebody where he's going to continue to amplify his earnings.
Yep.
We don't do that.
Well, of course not. But John, in the closing hour here, I do have a little bit of an announcement to make.
Oh, yeah? Does it have anything to do with the brew, Sean?
No, that's all on you, Bubba.
Oh,
Uh, I'll let you handle that one. So, Trucking Mama over at the Truckers Table tomorrow night, they will be in the raffle. And what they're doing is they're raffling off a coffee cup that's got their name on it along with our logo, John.
awesome.
This will be helping the driver. This will be helping a driver coming back to get his upgrade on his CDL. And so tomorrow night will be the last night. If you want to know more about that, you go over to the Facebook page and look up the Truckers Table.
Oh, I thought that was tonight. I was like, oh shit, I missed it.
No, she mentioned it for tomorrow night. I talked to Mandy.
I know, but I didn't.
today.
I didn't read it as tomorrow night because I saw the post, but I was like, oh shit, I missed it.
So, and after talking to her today, John, I think we might expect some future cups coming out.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember you said something about they really liked them and they want to do some more of this.
If I ever win one, I'm going to have it custom made with a pickle on it.
Oh Jesus, here
Will
we
that
go.
pickle be sliced?
I don't think it'd be a pickle. It'd be more like a tater tot when it comes to you.
Oh my god.
I knew that would get Allie's reaction.
Y'all
Somebody-
give me a headache.
Somebody's,
Lanta.
somebody's upset me, John, because I didn't bring any KFC gravy.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god.
After months and months of preparation and preparing and telling me he would, he didn't. He
Oh
lied
my
to me.
god.
Wow,
The truckers
Sean,
are
you're a
tweaking.
letdown. Hey, Peter, how you doing?
So, well, I mean, we do have Lanaloop still.
No, I'm good. I will pass.
It's got many uses.
It does, but I'll pass because I know what Sean's brain is thinking.
You're so cute.
Why is this guy going around the freaking neighborhood honking his horn? Get out of here. Sorry.
Well, the
I forgot-
horn
I
blows
forgot I
as
was-
the driver. What?
I forgot. I forgot I was unmuted talking my crap.
Well, maybe he heard we talked about Minnesota.
I'm used to being in my bunker, not out in public listening to people honking their horns.
Right, your little hobbit hole.
Well, you better get that back in that TIBN bumper, a bunker then, and
Yeah, after sure I'm crawling back in my hole.
shut up, Sean. Shut up, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, shut up, Sean.
All right.
So,
what
John, you had an announcement. Go ahead.
oh yeah, the brew has been off the air for a couple of weeks now. The girls have been having a hard time getting together on Sundays and making it all happen on Sundays. So they decided to move their time slot to Thursdays at 6 p.m. from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. So we're
I
gonna have
always
back to
wanted
back.
an opening act.
We're gonna have back-to-back shows. So we'll have the brew on from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then the Independent Truckers show will probably move to 7:05, just to have a 5-minute buffer between them.
All right, so 7:30. Got it.
No, I said 7:05. I know for you 7:05 translates to 7:30, but some truck drivers can't arrive on time. You know what they say: early's on time is late,
Yep.
and late as well. You're getting docked,
Yep.
and I don't mean
So
in a
don't
dock.
forget. Okay, John, don't put me in a pickle here. Oops, sorry. No pun intended.
There we go.
Grounded. You're freaking grounded. Sean's not going to be on the podcast next week.
Yes.
He's going to be replaced
grounded.
there. Stacy will be here
Eh.
for Sean tomorrow. I mean, next week.
Oh, God, she's going to hide me in the bunker, John.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
He is grounded and his allowance has been taken away.
hmm You're done.
He gets
Your career's over.
allowances? Holy crap!
Hear what they do to me, John. You ought to hear what they do to me. You really ought to hear this.
My Lanta.
So don't forget to check out show times and dates on the TIBN.us.
All
We're
right.
also on Facebook with the Truckers Independent Broadcasting Network. And John, it's all yours.
Awesome. So Peter said he was tied up in a meeting with feds on ELDs. Imagine that, those darned ELDs strike again. It seems that they in conflict with Ontario regulation. I'm telling you, Peter, the ELDs are only good for a tire chalk. That's it. You stick them under that tire, and you're not necessarily guaranteed that truck won't move, but if it crushes an ELD, you've had a good day.
Does he want to borrow
Right.
baseball bat Bauer?
We used to have talks about that. Remember, take our ELDs and well, I never had an ELD, never will, but take ELDs and throw them at the Capitol steps and leave them there, and DOT steps and leave them there, and yeah, it would have been nice to have some like videoing and stuff of baseball batting ELDs into the outfield.
Well,
I swear,
yeah.
an
I
etch a
mean,
sketch would be better than an ELD.
oh no, we had it all planned out. See, we were going to get one of those old style rock launchers. You could put the ELD in there and then fling it off in the yard, and then we'd have yardage like a football field
I think
to
you
see
mean
how
the
far they went. And then if they didn't break, we were going to have Bauer go out there with a baseball bat and break them in two.
we might have to have a trebuchet contest. You build your own trebuchet. We'll launch ELDs there out on, say, I think the National Mall might be a good place. See who can reach the Capitol building from 2 blocks away, maybe right there at the first tier of the National Mall. We can have a trebuchet contest. I think that's a great idea.
Maybe
All
we
right.
ought to fill it up with cucumbers and launch them off.
Cute covers, is that what
I'm-
you said?
Can we kick him out already, please?
Sadly, it doesn't get done as quickly as we want.
I know.
We got a bad case of the
I'm
sillies
ta-
tonight.
I'm thinking if that's the case, I'll buy me a cucumber farm and grow mine for next year.
Oh my god.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think on that happy note, we're going to get out of here.
Please.
We might be
Please.
here all night with the
Sean cannot
silliness,
control
so-
himself.
He is out of
Oh
control.
yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about Sean. I'm at my aunt's house and I'm getting spoiled. I'm about to get some marshmallows. Let's go.
All right.
Mm.
So, ladies and
Lucky
gentlemen,
look.
that's our bit for tonight. I hope you got something out of it. Keep the greasy side down, the shiny side up, in between the lines. Safe travels wherever you may be going. And as always, be good. If you can't be good, well, be good at it. And we gone.